Today's topic is going to be called I Tip Like a Rich Man. Interesting title, right? Yeah, I know. I actually got it from a gentleman by the name of Jim Rohn. Some of you may have heard him, but he's a world-renowned motivational speaker. And oftentimes he focuses on topics like sowing and reaping and just all around giving. He was a very wealthy man, and he talked about on his road to wealth or success, he could remember being broke and still tipping like a rich man. That was kind of the tone of his voice. I tip like a rich man. So what he did is he actually planned on being wealthy. He planned on being rich. So he tipped like he already was that. Now, when we talk about things like sowing and reaping or giving, often what comes to mind is maybe church or Christian. And anybody who's ever went to church, you always heard the people talk about the offering and sowing and getting back 100-fold and stuff like that. And although those are scriptures out of the Bible, that's what our mind tend to go to because that's what we've probably heard or seen. But sowing and reaping is a principle that God has put in place that works for anybody, the just or the unjust. Now, I'm not even sure if Jim Rohn was a Christian. All I know is he had this principle down packed, and he gave and he gave and he gave, and he also always got and got and he got back. But I wanted to pick this topic today because kind of a pet peeve of mine, something that I've experienced in my life, in my lifetime, and recently is always coming up. And maybe because I ask about it, but I'm going to tell you what it is. My sister, she's a waitress, and my brother, he used to be a waiter, their host. And I also have other friends that were hosts as well. And one time, one of my friends said, the worst time to be a host is on a Sunday. And I said, why is that? He said, because on Sunday, people leave the more smaller tips. He said also they have higher demands, higher expectations. And so what he was trying to insinuate is that people in the church, religious people, would come after church and they would eat and they would put all of these demands on them. But when they would leave the very little tips or no tips at all. And this really kind of saddened me because, of course, I'm a Christian. I'm a believer. So I went around and I started asking other waitresses, other servers, and it's kind of a consensus. Like, they all believe that Sunday is one of the worst days to be a waitress. And I asked her, what else? And she said, who else that you don't like to wait on? And a lot of them tell you that black men usually don't tip that well either. And I fit the description of both. I'm a Christian and I'm a black man. So it's something that really gets under my skin. So whenever I go out to eat with somebody or go somewhere, I'm always asking them, you're going to leave it. I'm always suggesting, hey, we're going to leave a tip, right? We're going to leave a tip, right? Especially if we're a large group, and I find sometimes that people don't plan on leaving tips. Now, this is kind of a strange video. This is not what I usually do. I'm not trying to put anything out there on nobody or make anybody feel... Well, actually, I am trying to make you feel guilty if you don't leave tips. Now, you don't have to tip like a rich man, but the point of my video is treat others how you would like to be treated. It's very simple. Treat others how you would like to be treated. One thing that we have to understand is that us as believers, the work that we have to do, most of the work that we have to do is not going to be done in the church. It's going to be done outside the church. That means when you go out to eat, when you're in the weight room, when you're at work, when you're at school, wherever you are, when you're driving down the road, you don't get so upset and go off into a road rage, right? Because you know better, because you understand the spirit inside you convicts you on doing something different. Well, it's the same when it comes to going out. And some people will probably think, well, you mean to tell me the Bible doesn't say anything about giving tips? No, that's just an example. Only thing I'm trying to say here is that treat others how you would like to be treated. Be on your best behavior everywhere. Do the same as you would want back. If you were a waitress and you were busting your butt, and at the end of the day, you know you only make $2 an hour, and you come and it's $1 on the table or nothing on the table at all, you're going to be heated, right? One of the worst things is for you to be trying to witness or minister the word of God to someone and then treat them bad. That's actually treating them bad. It reminds me of a post I saw on Facebook with a little African kid, and there was a lady on the side of him, and the caption said, "You mean to tell me you came all the way to Africa with a Bible and you didn't bring no food?" I was rolling, but I mean, it's absolutely true. People don't want to know what you know until they know that you care. That's a saying that we've always heard. So it takes some sowing into people, especially if you're trying to be a fisher of men and you want to draw people. Christ came and he gave of himself, because it doesn't always take money. You could give of yourself, your time, your energy, your expertise, all those different things. But all I'm trying to say is you need to treat people how you would like to be treated. Now, if you're a pastor and of course you do a lot of work in the walls of the church. You're the one feeding the flock, you're shepherding, you're doing all those things. But the average common person, you go there and you get fed. You don't do too much work while you're at church. You're a light to this world. That's what you're called to be, a light to the world. So that means at all times you're supposed to shine. Now, a lot of us have to have work to do, and that's what the Spirit is doing, is teaching us as we go. That's why a video like this is important, because it's just a simple reminder. That's all I'm doing, my friend, is reminding you today. The story about the waitress, all of that stuff about tips, that's just something small. That's just something to get your attention and help you to understand what I'm saying. But the bigger picture is we need to be found doing what Christ would do. We need to do unto others as we would like done unto ourselves. Now that's my video. I don't want to go too much time, but make sure you go to 215 Watts Facebook page and like our page and share some of our videos, share some of our posts. We're really trying to connect with this world and be an influence here. Take care and God bless.